A city and state on edge tonight as residents around Oregon wait for the expected deployment of the National Guard into Portland. That deployment, though, is ultimately dependent on a court hearing that is set to take place tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brandon Kamerman.
And I'm Kendall Bartley. Oregon National Guardsmen are actively training on the Oregon coast ahead of their arrival in Portland. We're told they could arrive as soon as this weekend.
Shelby Slaughter from our Portland sister station has more from Warrenton.
Camp Rylea in Warrenton, training ground for 200 troops before they arrive in Portland. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley saying troops are being trained on things like crowd control and the rules for use of force. Right now, it's still vague on what will happen when they leave here.
We're not sure when the plan is that these federalized Oregon National Guard will actually be assigned or exactly what they'll be assigned to do.
In a letter to troops, Alan Groenworld, the adjunct general of the Oregon National Guard, says the mission is to protect federal facilities and the federal employees working in them. We heard similar statements from military officials during a legislative committee meeting earlier this week.
The details of the mission are still to be determined, but they are, as you all assumed, to protect federal facilities. That was in the memorandum as well.
And we are here right now at the training base. You can see behind me right now, it is relatively quiet. It's been that way all day. We've seen a few cars come in and out, but no troops yet. I did reach out to the Department of War to see if there's any new information about when the troops will be done with training. I did not hear back. Also, Governor Tina Kotek's office says that this deployment is expected to cost taxpayers an estimated $10 million.
And that was Shelby Slaughter reporting. Now, like we mentioned, any possible deployment of the Guard hinges on the outcome of a court case that was filed by the Oregon Attorney General earlier this week. For some context, Portland and the state filed a joint suit saying the deployment of the Guard into Portland would be an overreach of federal authority and cited the recent outcome of California's lawsuit regarding troop deployment in June, where a judge ruled against the Trump administration. The administration arguing that this deployment is different and much more limited to its scope. The judge previously assigned to this case, which is expected to happen tomorrow morning, that judge has been reassigned after the Trump administration asked him to recuse himself. U.S. District Court Judge Michael Simon is married to Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, who represents Oregon's 1st District and who has been an outspoken critic not only of the deployment but of President Trump as well.
A new judge was assigned this afternoon. And while Portland could see guardsmen deployed soon, Memphis is the latest city to see an actual Guard deployment. The Trump administration claiming success in its first days of its crackdown in Memphis. Attorney General Pam Bondi writing on social media that the Memphis Safe Task Force has made more than 90 arrests and seized more than 24 guns this week. But some there say the influx of law enforcement is not necessary. Memphis police saying crime is actually at a 25-year low. Local leaders say instead of troops, they want the administration to invest in mental health, education, and housing for the city.
Can't stop. They're coming, whether you want it or not. Why don't we create the best situation for everybody and work together to create the best possible outcome?
A notable difference between the Memphis and Portland situations is the level of support from lawmakers. Tennessee's governor supporting the deployment, while Governor Kotek does not.
A traffic alert to warn you about as Willamette Street from 14th to 15th Avenue is shut down due to a motorcycle accident. We're taking a live look there now. The crash reported just before 4 this afternoon. Eugene police saying the motorcyclist has been taken to a hospital facing serious injuries. We'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you the latest as soon as we get it. Well, it was another true to form Oregon fall day today. Overcast skies that seem to be clearing out. KVAL's chief meteorologist John Mayer has a first look at our forecast.
Well, now that we're starting to see some of that wet weather wrapping up for us, actually a good chance to clear out our skies a little bit tonight into tomorrow morning. Kind of a sign of things to come as we make our way into next week. We're expecting a very different outlook for us. What it does do here in the short term, clear skies means those overnight lows are going to tumble, dropping all the way down to the upper 40s, lower 50s. But next couple of days, still not a huge difference just yet. In fact, we're expecting afternoon highs making it back into the 60s. But this rain potential that we've seen recently starting to wrap up, and well, when it was all said and done, we really didn't pick up on all that much in either Roseburg or Eugene. The I-5 corridor came up kind of empty, at least compared to what we saw on the coast. So just how many more of these rain chances do we still have left in us? We'll go ahead and track that out for you in that full extended forecast here coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, John. Well, the Oregon Department of Education released its 2024-25 standardized test report. That report claims schools throughout the state are still feeling the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's affecting student testing. Student progress is still below pre-pandemic levels. For Lane County districts like Eugene 4J, Springfield, and Bethel, the average percentage of students being proficient in English language arts, math, and science is 39%. Eugene 4J saw increases in ELA and math of around 1% each. Science scores decreased by around 3% compared to last year. Springfield schools increased on all of their tests, with ELA, math, and science scores going up around 2%. And Bethel saw the opposite, all of its scores going down across the board. However, McKenzie School District saw a significant increase, with all of its scores combined averaging around 50% proficiency. Well, there's a push tonight from state Republican lawmakers to send Oregon Governor Tina Kotek's massive transportation bill to voters. But first, they must collect tens of thousands of signatures before December 30th.
The signatures can't start being gathered until Governor Kotek actually signs the bill into law. And as Salem Bureau reporter Vasily Varlamos reports, there is no indication when she plans to do that.
Oregonians have spoken out pretty clearly that they don't like this, and it crosses party lines.
Representative Ed Diehl and Senate Republican Leader Bruce Starr are the two lawmakers spearheading an effort to refer the transportation bill to the 2026 ballot.
This is really the last tool we have available as the minority party. We've exhausted every other step through the legislature.
The effort will require over 78,000 verified signatures from Oregonians. Diehl and other petitioners would have until December 30th to collect them. If the necessary signatures are gathered and verified by the Secretary of State, the bill would go to voters in November and the tax increases would freeze.
I can't really measure the exact impact, but I think it would have an impact. It would change our funding and our strategy.
ODOT spokesperson David House said that they would work with the governor's office to plan the next steps if this funding was frozen. The Association of Oregon Counties says counties would be forced to cut services, delay maintenance, and compromise safety on the roads. Governor Kotek said Monday that a referendum is the right of the people, but Oregonians should think twice before supporting one.
Frankly, I would urge Oregonians to think about signing on to a referral that will take away our basic ability as Oregonians to keep our roads operating.
I'm Vasily Varlamos reporting.
Well, we've all seen it. Oregon head coach Dan Lanning has the Ducks firing on all cylinders, and a lot of that has to do with quarterback Dante Moore. Should he be at the front of the Heisman conversation? Here's Lanning's answer on the triple option.
If you can't recognize that he's a baller, shame on you. Like, this guy is special, right? And like all that stuff takes care of itself, right? Like he belongs in any conversation there is, but we ain't at the end of the season yet either. And all of it adds up. It all matters.
You can find the full episode with Lanning, along with Urban Meyer, Mark Ingram, and Rob Stone on the Triple Option YouTube page. They have podcasts every single week. You can find it there or wherever you get your podcasts.